On today's episode of the Indie Center podcast, we sit down with filmmaker Raul Colon. But before we get into that, a word from our sponsors. If you haven't heard about Anchor, it's the easiest way to make a podcast. Let me explain. It's free. I could probably end the list right there, but I'm going to continue. There's creation tools that allow you to record and edit your podcast right from your phone or computer. Anchor will distribute your podcast for you so it can be heard on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and many more. Speaking from personal experience, creating a podcast felt so overwhelming. I didn't know where to start, but using Anchor was a no-brainer. Their website and app is user-friendly. You're able to navigate through it easily. It's pretty cool, guys. You can make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership, and it's everything you need to make a podcast in one place. A one-stop shop. Download the free Anchor app or go to anchor.fm to get started. All right, episode number 32. I am here with Raul Colon. Brother, welcome back. How you been?
What's up, Lewis, man? I'm happy to be back. It's been great seeing your channel take off the way it's been taking off, and it's always great to hear from you, and it's always great to being on your podcast.
Oh man, thank you. It's kind of it's a shock. I didn't think I'd last this long. I told my co-host that I thought like after 5 episodes I'd be done, but here we are, episode 32, going strong, man.
Hey, man, you know what? Sometimes, even with me, man, like I was working on a podcast as well. And, it just takes a lot of time from you, right? Your family, a lot of times of editing and all that stuff. So I totally understand, man. So it takes someone special to, that's why I respect all the podcasters, because it takes a lot of time in editing and putting it together and all that good stuff,
Man, hey, and to be honest, I'm not sure if you checked it out, but I think a few episodes, like far in the beginning, when someone asked me what inspired me to do the podcast, honestly, your podcast kind of pushed me to that point. Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
That's awesome.
Because I know you. So when I saw you pop up with a podcast, I'm like, oh shit, you could do a podcast.
Yeah.
We could do a podcast. Like, what is this? And I loved your insight, bro. Like. From the Vulture, that's the first episode, and then I started backtracking and going through them. But I loved your insight on paying the actors, locations, vultures.
Yeah.
I love that insight from it. So you really inspired me to push and do something greater than me. So that's how this podcast formed. So thank you for that, man.
Well, brother, man, like I always say, man, if you can pay it forward, man, that's what this world needs. This world needs a little bit more of people that are doing it to pay it forward and give other, people like yourself that outlet to express your feelings on things. And that's where I feel a lot of people in this country, in this world that we live in now, somebody expressed their feelings on something and people are so easy to jump on them. Mm-hmm. And I live my life as, hey, man, whatever you believe in, then say it. You know what I mean? Because if you don't say it now and you die, it's too late. So express your feelings, man. Say it like you want to say it. Put it out there. Let the world know. And, it's all good, right?
Yeah, man. It's all about paying it forward, giving everybody this platform to speak out and just be themselves, and say what they really feel. So what have you been up to since the last time we spoke?
Man, so much. We had another vulture fly into the area here, so we had to get rid of that vulture. So no, man, just a lot of good stuff, man. I'm working on, I don't know, the last time when I spoke to you guys, I mentioned that I'm going to push myself to create a documentary. That was like my main thing, was create a documentary, create something different. So that's what I've been focused on lately. A lot of commercials lately too, a lot of product videos. Especially with the times that we live in now, that we cannot go out or do a lot of things. I have a studio here at home, a production studio here at home, that I provide services for different companies and commercials and stuff like that. So that's basically what I've been doing.
Speaking of commercials, congratulations on the whiskey commercial. I've seen that. It looks awesome.
Thanks, man.
That looks really
Thank
good.
you, man.
And talking about vultures, all right. To give everybody context, Raul made a podcast, and on there was a vulture. Vulture is somebody that tried to steal or damage a production. And in this situation before was somebody that refused to work with anybody because of his patience. And Raul, man, for some reason, like these vultures just come around. What's up with it? What's the reason for it?
The reason why I call them vultures are just, vultures here in Florida are those things that try to eat dead, animals and just disgusting people, just a disgusting animal that I hate. When I first moved down here and I saw a vulture for the first time eating like an animal outside the street, I was like, that's disgusting. And, people that I run into that doesn't know anything about the real film world, and they try to, come into our side of the world in the filmmaking world and try to, put rules or try to hold people's footage and, without even agreeing to things. I mean, I call them vultures because they're just disgusting to me. People that don't understand production, people that are just disgusting people, you know what I mean?
And it not only stops there, but for the people that do understand production, there's vultures out there that take advantage of the artist, right? By
Yeah, yeah,
charging them for services they have no business charging for.
correct.
And it's horrible. Every industry has vultures, but for some reason, this industry is just oversaturated with people wanting to take advantage of people with talent agencies, auditions, so on and so forth. So it's fucking sad,
Yeah,
but it's the reality. And some of these vultures are actually gatekeepers. They
yeah,
hold the key sometimes.
yeah, absolutely, man. I mean, sometimes that's the reason why, like Lewis, I don't know if you noticed, but like I'm a very like private filmmaker. Like I don't work with a lot of people. I try to stay, to my circle as much as I can. Just we'll talk about that situation whenever you
Mm-hmm.
ask it. But it's like with this documentary that I'm working on, it's the same thing. I've been going through a lot this past couple weeks with this crap.
So let's talk about the documentary. So last time we spoke, you were doing a film all shot on iPhone, something you've never done before, all because a fucking dweeb kind of egged you on for it. Now you jumped into a cannabis documentary, right? That's totally
Yeah.
out of your norm. Why? What made you jump into it?
Um, well, like I told you, man, like in the beginning of the year, I wanted to push myself as a director to create a documentary.
Mm.
And it's always been a dream for me to do one, and to challenge myself. So I was approached by, and just to let you know, I was approached by a vulture,
Mm.
somebody that was on my Facebook, just basically just looking at what I do, and he reached out to me, and he was like, "Hey, listen, I've been, researching you. I've been following you. You're a great filmmaker. Have you ever thought about making like a cannabis documentary?"
Mm.
And I was like, you know what? Not really a cannabis documentary, but man, that sounds like a great idea. Then we jumped on a phone call, and mind you, this guy has never done any kind of production ever in his life. He's just been seeing what I've been doing and kind of like, hey, let me see if this filmmaker will do it.
Mm-hmm.
So I told him, I said, listen, you have a great idea. I mean, I would love to produce it and be the director, but I'm not gonna just do a full blown production. Get the host, find different segues to talk about, and just give you this for free. Like I'm not, I don't work like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna just hand you over a full documentary that you can do whatever you want to do with it. I don't do that. So I told them if we do it together and we do it as a team that I own a lot of it, and me bringing all my sources together when it comes to production, finding people to interview, finding the host. There was things that he agreed on verbally that he had to do, and there were
Mm-hmm.
some things that I verbally that it was never said in paper or anything like that. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mentioned to him too. I'm like, look, dude, we're not the first and we're not the last people that are going to do a documentary about cannabis in Chicago or
Mm-hmm.
cannabis around the world. There's thousands or millions of different cannabis documentaries. But if I'm going to do this with you, I'm going to own it too. So he was like, yeah, man, yeah, absolutely. Let's do it, whatever. And, when we started doing it and everything, all these interviews I'm finding, and Lewis, man, I know a lot of people that work on production, and
Mhm.
I know a lot of people that we can get as hosts just throughout the years of me working on my projects.
Mhm.
So I just months and months and months and months passed without the verbal agreement that he agreed on. He wasn't coming through with it, and I was like, dude, man, like I feel like I'm just doing everything, and I'm coming out of my pocket. I can't keep spending money. Either you agree on and give what you're going to agree on, or I'm going to walk away from this,
Mhm.
And I told him, I'm like, look, man, you have a week to figure it out. If not, I'm out,
Mhm.
and, he got like really like, trying to, oh, this is my project. And I'm like, what? Like he hit me with that card. And so I backed out completely and I said, okay, you can have your project and go ahead and finish it. Go ahead. I'm not going to be a part of it, and you're not going to use anything that I filmed with my production that I provided. I provided full production. I provided a full host. I provided multiple interviews that I found on my own.
Mhm.
So I just told them, look, listen, man, you can have the name. That's the reason why the name changed. I said, you can have the name. You can have your idea. I mean, this is whatever you want, dude. Just go ahead, finish it. I'm out. So, due to me spending so many time and money and my production and people that times that they involved for free
Mhm.
and worked on a project that how stupid do I look in telling, the host and the interviewers and all these people that we contacted and let them know it's going down the drain? I don't work like that. Like I'm going to
Mhm.
continue doing a project about cannabis in the city of Chicago, and I'm gonna do my own. And good luck to his vulture that never done a production before, and is probably trying to look around for another director or another person that's gonna provide all the production that I did. I doubt it he'll get it for free.
Oh man, that's horrible, man. That's a shitty situation right there. That's
Yeah, I mean it's just a situation though, Lewis, that I put myself in.
yeah.
I put my
Y-
friends in. I put the people that I work with in, and I felt disgusted because I, you know, introduced this vulture to the whole team, to my
Yeah.
team, to the people that I work with, and to kind of let them know that this is not going, we're not going to work with this guy again.
Yeah.
I really didn't give a shit because I don't care, like I don't. He doesn't take a talent from me. You know what I'm saying? I'm a
Yeah.
talented person. I create what the fuck I want to create when I want to create it.
But the fact that you
Um,
believed in it and you invested into the project thinking that he
I
was going to
mean,
come meeting you halfway.
yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's like, let's say this, Louis. Let's say I go, hey, Louis, I have a great idea about a podcast, and you go, man, really? I never did a podcast like that. I'm like, listen, let's do it. Verbal agreement. Let's get it together. Let's do this. Let's do that. Next, you don't hear from me. I'm not coming through with the verbal agreement. You're working
Mm.
your ass off. Your people are waiting for answers from you. I mean, how? I mean, you're talking about months and months and months of this guy just ghosting me or lying to me, and that's one thing I hate. Lewis, in this industry is liars. I despise liars. I've been lied to a lot in my life.
Mm.
And I just didn't want to go down that road anymore. So what I did before it went to a bigger, longer process of us filming, I just cut it short before it
Yeah, that
got,
behavior is cancerous, bro. You have to cut it off. It's like a production is a body, right? If you have a
yeah,
piece in it that's cancerous, you have to cut that shit off before it,
yeah,
migrates
man.
to a
I mean,
different part of the body.
dude, and let me tell you something. It took me like weeks, like to really think about this, right? And I was sitting down and I said, what the fuck am I doing? I
You're
said, what the
Raul fucking Colon, bro.
and it's not even like that, Lewis, but I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm like, I am providing production. I'm providing questions and finding fucking dispensaries, finding people that are politicians. I mean, connecting people. I mean, I've connected so many people in such a small amount of time. You know, even music artists I involved in here. I mean, you're talking about music artists that you hear on the radio, you
Yeah.
know, and I put all this together for a dude, you know, a vulture that just has a dream of someone creating this. And I'm like, dude, I'm doing everything you asked me to. Like, if I'm asking you for help, you should fucking jump, because you should be a privilege that I'm fucking even working with you. You know what I mean? Like I'm not a regular filmmaker from the city. You know what I mean? Like I'm established. I've worked
Yeah.
on the films. I've won film festivals. I was, you know, nominated for Academy Award. I mean, I've done my work, and for me
Yeah.
to take this on for free and for him to be kind of a fucking asshole, I was
Fuck
like,
that.
nah, yeah, and exactly how I felt, bro. And one day I woke up and I told him, kick rocks, take your idea, do what you want.
Talking about all your accomplishments, bro. I want to say congratulations on Room 13.
Oh
You
man,
hit
thank you,
fucking
man.
100K, man.
And it's 100 real K, right? I mean, you
It's
get a lot of
100 real K. Right now, I'm looking at
yeah.
your numbers. Is 101,568 views.
There you go, man. I mean,
Fucking wow.
you know what, man? I always want to say this. You know, I always give thanks to my cast and crew. I know this movie was my idea, and it was a dream that I had, and I just started writing it, and cool. I casted the people, and we shot it, and big shout out to Streeter, Illinois, Bill, and Sarah that let me film in all their locations there. But you know, I owe it all to my cast and crew. I mean, endless times. I mean, we worked a whole day from 5 in the morning to 3 o'clock in the morning, driving back to Chicago at 5 in the morning. Like, it was a long day. And
Oh,
you know
that's
what?
brutal.
It's been a great accomplishment, man. I'm very, very honored, and to work with such a great cast, and my executive producers and my producers for it, man. Like, everything that I asked for, they did it. And it's like, it's amazing to have a team like that. You know what I mean? Like, I just need something and they got it, you know,
And
like,
it's crazy that your team is a reoccurring team. Right? Everybody
yes,
you're
yes.
mentioning, right? It's not just a one film thing. You must be doing something right if they're following you film after film after project.
Yeah,
That
you know what it is, Louis, is just the respect, right? Is the respect. And this is one thing that I say. If I ask you to do something and I say, hey man, can you, you know, film with me this day? Can you help me out? And that person says yes and shows
no
up,
question.
all my respect. If that person says yes and don't show up and don't pick up, then you will never hear from me again. And that's where my team always worked. Charles, TJ, my executive producer, and on basically all my films. I can call him today and say, "Hey, I'm going to Chicago tomorrow. I need you to rent this. I need you to purchase this." There's no questions asked. Is, hey, all right, let's do it. You know what I mean? Like, no problems, because he believes in my talent. He believes that we're gonna do something great. You know, even talking to him about Room 13, like, just hearing his voice and how proud he is that we hit 100,000 views. Like, just to hear him being so proud of that's what we do this film for, is to, you know, we had 100,000 people watch our film. We had 547 people comment. We had 915 thumbs up, 208 thumbs down. And it's just, it's great, because you know what, it's endless, right? I mean, this movie's gonna be here, you know, when my kids grow up, and they watch and say, wow, look at dad's films on here. Hopefully it encourages them to be filmmakers or an actress or an actor, you know, or just encourage them to do something positive in their lives.
That is fucking awesome. And thinking about it, it just popped up to my mind. I see like projects and like your filmography as a diary, right? Like years from now, when we're all dead, right? When you're gone, your daughter will show her kids your filmography, and they'll be able to see what, you know, you were feeling, what you were thinking. I think that's fucking
Absolutely.
awesome, man. It
Yeah.
lives forever.
That's the reason why I do this. You know, I do this because I love it. And I do this, you know, now for another reason, is my child, you know, and I do this because I love it. You know, I don't just do this to show it off to my girlfriend or my boyfriend, or or hey, look at me, I'm cool, I'm a filmmaker. Like, I don't care about that. I care about creating something cool, passing it down forward, and hoping to inspire a young kid from Chicago that was raised in the area I was raised in, Humboldt Park, and do something positive in their lives.
So I have a question. You were mentioning your likes and dislikes. Do you read the comments?
Yeah,
Because I'm looking through your comments, and you have over 500 comments. Do you look through
yeah,
those shits and do you fight back with the trolls?
yeah. You know what? You know what, man? I have a little template that I try to respond to everybody.
Ah,
Um, I'm a real believer that if you respond to some of these people, you either can get them as a subscriber, and you can even get them as a fan, right? Someone that's now, like, I had a girl that completely dogged me out on this film,
ah.
and I wrote back to her. I said, "Listen, thank you so much for your comment and your feedback. We're just starting there. We're all learning, and hope to get better. Thank you so much." When I sent her that, she wrote back and said, "I am so sorry. I didn't think you were gonna write back. Apologies. I'm gonna delete the comment. I'm just sorry. I didn't know you were gonna read this." And I said, "No, it's fine. Please leave your comment there, because looking at your comment will help me make better films."
Mm.
And that was it. And she's subscribed to my channel now. She's one of my, like, she loves all the stuff that I do.
Oh,
So
that's awesome.
it's yeah, man.
That is fucking
Sometimes
awesome.
you have to respond to it. And if I have time, I would. And if things get busier, of course, I'll try to have my staff reach out as much as we can, because I think engagement with your fans are a big thing. I think a lot of, one thing, Lewis, man, where I get really upset with this whole film and music industry,
Mm.
because the fans are the people that make you.
Mm-hmm.
The people that are buying tickets to go see you play, the people that are buying tickets to see your film,
Mm.
those are the people, the actors, directors, and people need to pay it forward to.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, all this money of being millionaires, how did they get there? Of course, their talent got them there.
Mm.
But if the fans are not paying for this, like, what are you doing? It's like, for instance, right now, they're asking baseball players to take a pay cut because there's no baseball being played.
Is that for all the sports? Because I heard for NBA too. Is that just
Well,
baseball?
I heard baseball this past week, but again, you see, if it shuts down, what are you doing? All that fame and all that stuff that you have
Don't
is
mean
out the
shit.
window.
Yeah.
You're a regular person like me and you. So people and actors, baseball players, all these people that are doing things need to really realize that some of them that don't, they need to pay it forward to the fans and the people that are supporting their craft.
Oh, that's beautiful. So, do you think by you responding to that negative comment, do you think you shaped the way that she thinks about art now?
I mean,
Like,
absolutely, absolutely.
like the way I see it is, all this time in her life, she just saw projects and judged them. She didn't care about the people behind it. She didn't care about the sweat and tears that were put behind it. But by you commenting and saying, "I appreciate your comment. We're working on it. We're starting off." Like, that would fucking shock me if I were to say something bad about a song, right? That's millions and millions of views and downloads. And if I trash that song, and if that artist were to reach out to me personally, that's accountability 101, bro. Like, I think
Yeah,
by you doing that, you kind of shook her and said, "Hey, behind these projects, behind these videos that you see, we're real people. Be careful
yeah,
what you say, because we have feelings too."
yeah.
I think you humanized her aspect on art. That's fucking beautiful.
No, yeah, absolutely. And I think that if I would have went back and forth with her and said, "Hey, F you," and blah blah, like, where that would have got me, right? Like,
Yeah.
where that would have got me. I mean, I hate confrontations. I hate to, like, bash people. Like, I don't do that. So I just, said thank you so much for watching, and hopefully we can, impress you with another one. And she just reached back and she was like so apologetic, and now she's a follower, so
That
she
is
follows our
awesome.
stuff. So
That's awesome,
yeah,
man. That's awesome. So, to get back on track on the Green City Project. Who's a part of this documentary since the Vulture's out?
So the Green City Project, it's going to be a documentary, of course, about the legalization in Chicago. But I'm gonna have a little twist in it. I'm gonna a lot of it's gonna be just talking with different artists in the city, talking
Mm.
to local politicians, talking to just everybody that wants to talk about what's going on in the city of Chicago. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Especially with the cannabis. So we have a lot of people that are confirmed. We just to tell you one, we have Chef Manny that just won a Netflix show. It's called Cooked with Cannabis.
Yes, Manny
Netflix
Mendoza,
show.
episode 6.
Yes,
Yes, I
yes.
love that
So
show, man. Oh, go
yeah,
ahead.
he's gonna be on the documentary. He's confirmed. So just a lot of people, man. We have some local politicians in the city that I actually knew personally that they're aldermen for the 40th ward.
Mm.
And just a lot of people, man. We're gonna fly out to LA. We have a couple of actors out there that are from Chicago. I don't want to, take off the mask of Batman yet,
Yeah, yeah.
and kind of say what's going on. But yeah, we're gonna do that. We're gonna connect LA with Chicago, and just man, dude, like watching you see the poster to this thing is just beautiful, man. It's a lot of great different ideas, and again, like I ask a lot of my team, like, hey man, what do you guys think? What do you guys think we should do here? So there's a lot of different
Abby?
avenues we are going. A lot of things are on hold right now due to COVID-19. So we're just kind of holding off, but I am not stopping. I have been in contact with all of our people we're interviewing next.
Mm.
I've been in contact of some people in LA. I've been writing down I still been working when like my production team and my host and everybody's just kind of at home. And what I'm doing is kind of getting things done in the back end.
Oh, man, that's awesome. I can't wait to see it. Is there anticipated date for it?
Man, not really, dude, due to all the stuff that's going on. Like I wanted to get this done by this winter,
Mm-hmm.
holiday season, but due to all the stuff that's going on, LA is going to be closed down for 3 months. Chicago is still shut down. A lot of people that we're interviewing are kind of like scared a little bit of like in contact with people.
Yeah.
So we're kind of just playing it by ear right now and kind of, I say this, man, my team, my producers, my, host, my production team, they come first. Fuck this film shit, fuck this documentary. The health of our team comes first.
Mm-hmm.
So once they feel comfortable and all this shit blows over, then we'll go back and we'll do what we have to do. But at the end of the day, man, their safety comes first.
So with the COVID, how do you think this would affect the film industry?
I mean, I think it's gonna affect it big time, because there's nothing filming right now. But there is a lot of things that were filmed years ago or a year ago that are a lot of the editors are probably catching up, and actually in the studio because they can be in the studio at their house or at Warner Brothers and they can be, kind of going, editing or doing whatever they have to do. So I think no, it's not going to affect. I think a little bit, man. I don't think that much. I think it's great for filmmakers like myself
Mm-hmm.
that I'm already. I say the 25% in on my documentary.
Mm-hmm.
That when I'm done, I know a lot of companies are going to be looking for content. So I think that's going to be good for independent filmmakers that are creating things that Netflix, Hulu, all these people that have these distribution streaming services, they're going to be looking for content, and they're not going to care if the shit looks like $1 million. You know what I mean?
Mm. I think
So,
that this is a good time for people to like you, man. Like you're actually doing a stop motion
hmm
picture as well in the midst of all this shit.
hmm
So I think
yeah,
it's a great way for people to learn different skills, a skill set, acquiring new
yeah,
things. I
yeah,
think it's
absolutely,
awesome.
man. I started doing that too, because I'm at home and I'm with my daughter at the time because her daycare is closed. So yeah, man. I mean, I just started, freaking, challenging myself to do a stop motion film right now. I'm actually, I say 95% done. I just haven't really got my foot wet yet with editing on it
Mm.
because so much stuff been going on. And but yeah.
So how did that happen? Because I mean, stop motion is really fucking tedious. I had a episode with Caleb Karolski. He did stop
Mhm.
motion, and I've watched his films. It's so tedious, moving the little figurine little by little by little by little. How is
Yeah, I
that? How is
mean,
that for you?
it's hard. It's a lot of work. You when you're working on stop motion, every step that you do for these toys, you move them little by little, and you're literally taking pictures step by step, step by step, step by step. You can take 70, 80 pictures on just one figurine, and you're moving them 4 or 5 fucking inches. Um, that's what it takes, so you have to be patient, and that's the reason why it's taking me so long, because I want to make sure it's right.
Mm.
And I just don't want to put anything on there and just be like, hey, this is it. I want to make sure that things look good on it, and they look professional.
Is there a part of your project that you found the most frustrating or difficult that you didn't know before entering stop motion?
I mean, yeah, especially with stop motion, I feel that you have to have the proper lighting, especially if you're doing a green screen. Green screen, I never worked with green screen before, and it's if it's not lit the right way, your background is not going to come out the way you want it to.
Mm.
So I say taking the pictures of these figurines and moving things around is not a big challenge to me. But the challenge was lighting the green screen and making sure the green screen is lit up the right way. So I had to like purchase a bunch of new lights and purchase a bunch of new things just to make it look good.
Mm. So who's a part of this project? Did you have any voice actors going?
Yeah, so I got, of course, Enrique Guzman,
Mm-hmm.
my brother, my compadre, the godfather of my child.
Shout out Enrique.
Yeah, I got some of my buddies here from Florida, Joe Carter, Phil, this girl named Gabby that I work with, and I got Dago from Chicago as well. And basically, and me, I actually, it's my first time on one of my projects. You're gonna hear my voice, so
Oh, really?
it's
Is
pretty
it
funny.
your
Yeah,
first shot at voice acting?
my first shot as being in one of my projects. So I play one of the guys in the jets that fly by, and I miss my target. So I'm like, I missed my target. Dog won. I missed my target. So it's just funny to me, bro, because I just to hear my voice, I go, man, I sound so fucking stupid.
So have you stayed up all night practicing that? God, I missed my target. I missed my target.
Yeah,
Like, trying
you
to
know what?
deliver it differently.
Not really, man. You know what I did? I watched Top Gun, and
Mm.
I was listening to how when they were flying and kind of the words they used and all that. So I kind of educated myself so I won't sound dumb when people hear it. But I think I just sound like a fucking dumbass.
I can't wait to
But
hear it, man. I can't wait.
yeah, I mean it's really funny, man. Like it's really cool. I think that a lot of people are gonna laugh at it and kind of enjoy it, man. That's all we do it for, man. Is for people to enjoy it.
Man, that's awesome. Since it's 95% done, so do you have a anticipated date for that, or you're gonna sit on that until?
You know what? Shit. Man, I mean, it can be done any day. I just haven't really got into it. I am gonna. I'm saying like in another month, it'll be done. There's a couple music that some people are doing for me to finish it.
Mm.
But other than that, yeah, man, I'm just basically just kind of holding off a little bit because of the music licensing and all that.
Got it. So, have you heard about the verses on IG? How two legends come up and they start battling each other with their catalogs?
Yeah.
I'm curious, what two directors would you put head to head with their catalogs?
Ooh, that's a good one. I say Quentin Tarantino and Marcus Scorsese.
Oh, that's good. Oh,
Yeah,
that's good.
and I think Marcus Scorsese beat him by landslide, but I think that Quentin's my idol, right? That's like Kobe looked up to
Mm-hmm.
Michael. I look up to Quentin because Quentin never went to film school, and he's a fucking person that don't give a shit what people think. He don't care if they like it or not. He just creates what's in his mind, and he'll tell you to go fuck off in a heartbeat. And that's the kind of filmmaking that I like,
Yeah, he's so like unforgiving. He doesn't give a fuck. He really doesn't.
Nope.
I love watching his interviews. One interview that stands out is when he told that reporter to the interviewer to shut up. Like, I'm not dancing to your tune. I already said that. I'm not going to answer that the way you want it because I already said that. I have 20 years worth of interviews. Look at that shit. I'm not answering again.
Yep. That's it.
I think it's really hard to put film directors head to head. I mean, because every film director has a different like flavor, bro. It's like if you think about it, like Quentin Tarantino and Martin Scorsese are like so different. Like hip hop, I mean, it's hip hop. They rap, right? But like Scorsese, nothing but Italian influenced films, and fucking Tarantino with the spaghetti westerns and all the bloods. That'd be interesting. That'd really be interesting.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. I mean, I think like Scorsese is one of my, directors that I look up to because of all the films he's done with De Niro and Al Pacino. And like, if you see a lot of his films, like he has the same circle like what I do.
I was just about to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. And the same thing goes for Quentin as well. If you see Quentin, he always uses, Michael Madsen, a good friend of mine. He always uses, just the same circle because he knows that if he tells them to do A, B, and C, they're gonna do A, B, and C. They're not gonna do D, F, and W when he's directing them. So he knows that people are gonna follow his directing style, and people are gonna listen to what he says. So that's the reason why a lot of these directors, they work with the same people, because a lot of these new actors don't listen. They go on set and some of these actors think that they know more than the director. And that's when some of the film, sometimes it'll go good and sometimes it'll go bad, because when you let a actor do what he wants, sometimes it'll come out better than what the director wanted. That's the reason why there's a quote that Scorsese says, and I will always implement that in my films, is you have to let the actors fail. You have to give them a chance to fail, because when they fail on the way you're directing them and they create something that's not in your mind, but the audience love it, then that's magic, right? I mean, it's like, for instance, when I was talking to Michael Madsen, he was telling me he was on set of Kill Bill, and he took he was wearing a hat, because Michael Madsen, he wears like different kind of clothes, like it's just weird. He'll wear like a cowboy hat, on set. And Quentin Tarantino tells him, hey, don't wear that when we're filming. Do not wear that hat. I don't want that hat on there. And Michael was like, all right, no problem. When they filmed it, it was like 3 a.m. I guess their scene when he's burying Uma Thurman alive. When he's burying her, he's wearing the hat. So he either forgot, but talking to Michael, he said, fuck that, I'm gonna wear my hat there. It looks better. When Quentin cut, that's a wrap, and he played back and he's like, he's fucking wearing the hat. God damn it. Next you know, the hat is iconic. People are like, yeah, he's the one that wears the fucking cowboy hat. Like, people love that. And to this day, when Michael went to like the Kill Bill, you know, premiere, I think, you know, people were asking him about the hat, like they loved it, you know. So sometimes you got to give the actor some space to kind of create too, but kind of stay in their lane and know that, hey man, this is what we're trying to accomplish, you know. But you have to give the actor a little bit of space and let them create what they see in their mind. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and at the end, I mean, actors are creatives as well, not only the director. So if you
Yeah,
guys go work hand in hand, you guys
absolutely.
will create magic and history in the same time.
Yeah, it's like, you know, some of the actors that I work with in the past, like, you know, Blaine. Like, Blaine is an actor that he like, I can give him a script and he'll kind of do it his own way, right? And that's cool. But sometimes it's just a little bit too much, and I'm like, yo, really back, go read the script, go ahead and go what I'm telling you to go with, because what you just didn't look good. And you have like Enrique too. Enrique, I'll give him a script and he laughs because my English is not the best, so he kind of puts it in a better format, you know. So those are things that, you know, you work with, that you just have to, you know, as a director, those are things that you have to navigate and coach when you're on set, and make sure that, you know, the actor is happy with, you know, the opportunity that he got.
True, that's right. And this is pretty funny. If you Google Michael Madsen Kill Bill, the first thing you see is the fucking hat. Did you know that?
There you go. There you go.
If you go
Yeah.
through images, every single picture is of him in a cowboy hat.
I'm telling you, this is coming straight from Michael Matz's mouth. You know, like, I had dinner with him, and we were talking, and I was like, hey, you know, can you give me a couple stories about Quentin Tarantino? And he's like, well, there's a lot, but this is one that, you know, kind of stuck out to me, and, you know,
Oh
it was
man,
the whole hat situation, that he said there was this, you know, a little back and forth because Quentin didn't want the hat on set. So
that's funny. That's
isn't that crazy?
Yeah, and he ended up making history with it. I mean, the hat
Yeah,
is infamous. Like it's part of film history now. That's awesome.
absolutely. And that's the great thing about film, right? You just give that actor a chance to showcase his talent. I mean, that happens in the world, you know, even building a house, right? Sometimes you'll say, hey, won't you just put the backyard like this, right? Or put a pool over here. You're gonna love it. And the person goes, nah, I don't want a pool here. Next, you know, he's like, all right, let me put a fucking pool here. Next, you know, he's like, I'm happy I put this fucking pool back here because I can get in and I can do this and that, you know?
Yeah, that's awesome.
Sorry,
No,
man. That's my
you're
daughter.
good. You're good. My kids are here running around too, so I'm not sure if you hear them in the background. So what's next for you for 2020?
I'm really focusing on this documentary right now. That's my main focus. I kind of like took a little couple months off due to, you know, my daughter being born, and, you know, I promised my wife that I'm gonna just not be flying a lot. You know, I fly a lot for NBC right now, for the Golf Channel. So I am flying a lot with work. So I didn't want to do that double the time when, you know, my daughter's just, you know, an infant, and I wanted to help my wife out. So this year, man, I'm more focused on the documentary, making sure that gets done. And, you know, let's see what happens. I think we got a good one here. I think we have great interviewers. I think we have a great concept of kind of educating the young youth, educating the parents in Illinois, about the whole cannabis being legalized. A lot of parents think it's bad, and you know, they think that now, you know, oh well, my kids they can buy cannabis whenever they want. No, lady, they could have bought it easily a long time ago.
Yeah, and cheaper.
And you know, especially with, I'm a really big believer that, you know, you have people that smoke weed or cannabis, or marijuana, wherever you want to phrase it, because I've learned that saying marijuana in the cannabis world is pretty like blacklisted.
Really?
Yeah, because the whole marijuana, my mom is very Spanish people, from Puerto Rico, and she hears marijuana and she thinks it's a bad
Mm.
thing. But a lot of people don't understand that. Let's say you, for instance, let's say you start smoking weed,
Mm.
right? You start smoking pot, and you're trying to buy pot the right way and make sure it's not sprayed with fucking rat poison or or just is grown the wrong
Mm.
way, or you're buying something that's not is not right, and you're putting it into your system and you're smoking it because you bought it from Tony from the block, or you bought it from Ralph down the street.
Mm.
You're buying it from a dispensary that grows everything the right way, and everything that you're having is all natural, instead of buying it from someone that's just trying to make money and trying to duplicate what they have with rat poison or spraying it with something that shouldn't be in your body.
Mm.
That's the reason why I say, the legalization of cannabis in Chicago is great. I think it's gonna bring down, a lot of homicides, people trying to buy weed and they get robbed, or people are walking away with weed in their pocket from the person they bought weed from, and they know they bought weed from them. Next, they're robbing them. Um, Things like that, man. I think it's gonna help the city out financially. I think, I know people sit here now, the people we interviewed, and they're like, well, they're taxing the shit out of it. And, I think this, if you're smoking weed,
Mm.
right, you choose to do that. That's not something
Mm.
that you have to do. You choose to do it. It's like smoking a cigar for me. I choose to smoke a cigar and I can pay for it because I have the money, and that's something that you choose to do. It's a hobby. If you have the
Hello?
money for it, then you could do it. If you don't have it, you
Mm.
shouldn't be doing it. And I think that for the people that need it, like medical patients, do it the right way and go through a doctor and get your medical cannabis
Mm.
ID, right? That it shows that a doctor said you need cannabis to help control your nerves or your sleeping arrangement. And it's the same way, man. And I really believe that people need to understand that, you can't abuse cannabis because you just want to smoke it and feel like you're
Mm.
high and you're cool. I mean, you should smoke it because either you can afford it or,
Mm-hmm.
you need it. And that's the way I see it, and that's the way I see the whole cannabis thing is like, if you do it, man, I mean, all praise to you. You got the money for it, you do it, you got it. But if you don't have the money for it, your focus should be getting a job and making sure
Yeah,
you can afford
exactly.
it.
And I think with the whole cannabis being taboo, and now it's being mainstream. I think with this documentary, it'll definitely help giving a better understanding to the background and the benefits of it, because people will just fixate on the high. I mean, it has a lot of beneficial benefits to it, to your body. So I think this documentary is definitely needed, and I'm excited to see it, man. I'm really excited.
What's crazy about it too. We're going into re-interviewed a lady
Mm.
called Natalie. She owns a hemp. It's all hemp, so it doesn't
Mm.
have THC in it. And this episode that we're doing is called Hemp versus Cannabis. And a lot of people don't understand that hemp is not. I mean, it's cannabis, but they extract the
Mm.
THC from it, so you don't get high. So the hemp does a lot of things. It helps you sleep. It helps you, focus. It helps you do a lot of things, but it
Mm.
doesn't get you high. And a lot of mothers and kids and people don't understand that hemp is different to regular marijuana. And that's one thing that I want to educate people. Like you had a Chicago police officer arrest this kid that had, I think, was a couple ounces of hemp, and hemp is legal
Mm.
in Chicago. And now this kid been through the system in Cook County and was processed and was labeled a person that
Mm.
had cannabis, and it wasn't cannabis, it was hemp. So my main goal is to make sure we educate the law enforcement, educate the moms, educate the kids, educate just everybody that there's different ways and different things that they can do and the city can really benefit from
Definitely,
it.
definitely, man. That's horrible to get arrested for some shit you don't have. That and being a kid at that.
Exactly.
That's shit right there.
Yeah. I mean, I say, he wasn't a kid. I mean, the guy was, was a young, he was like 18, 19 or some shit like that. But, to me, that's still, you're still a kid. But he was arrested, because the cop couldn't identify if it was hemp or
Mm.
marijuana.
That's so.
Yeah.
There's training for that shit. I mean, that's wrongful arrest. I'm pretty sure that cop doesn't have a job. If not, I mean, I hope he got in trouble for that. It's not something you can walk away from.
Yeah. And it's hard, right, for the cops too, right? Because my brother's a Chicago cop, and I know it's hard, right? In the heat of the moment, you pull somebody over and it reeks like marijuana, so you think right away, oh shit, this is marijuana. So where I want to make sure we're educating are the mayors, right? We educate the system of, hey, make sure that you give um, the proper kit, the
Mm.
proper information for these law enforcement. You know how they test for coke. Let me see if this is coke. They put it in a little crushing bag. The color turns blue. You got coke, right? You go to jail. The system before this shit was illegal, before marijuana became legalized in Chicago, those are things that should have been in place for law enforcement. Because at the end of the day, the law enforcement people are the ones that are going to be dealing with this situation. So they should have educated, or I don't know if they have, and that officer didn't know, but they should have kits in their squad cars to check, because now it's
Mm.
legal in Chicago, right? People are smoking. Dude, I went to Chicago a couple months ago and I smoked weed all over the place. And I think that, if they want to really like enforce, how much you can have and all that stuff, and enforce how much weed, they have to have a procedure, and that's the reason why we're creating this, so we can share a light on on
That's
that.
fucking awesome, bro. That's really cool. And like, I think with every project,
Yeah.
I mean, you're paying it forward. Like with here, you're paying it forward with education and resources for marijuana that would or cannabis. Sorry, fuck, I don't want anybody to attack me. But
There you go.
hey, you
See,
see, you taught
hey,
me
I taught you
something.
something, bro.
Just releasing this film, you're teaching people. You're teaching people something, so that way they could carry it on and
Yeah.
teach that lesson to somebody else. Do you have any special shout outs?
Yeah, man. I mean, shout out to, my wife, of course, always holding me down. Shout out to my daughter. Shout out to you, Lewis, for always, constantly creating different podcasts. And, shout out to my cannabis documentary staff, the production team, Danny, Lion, Gino, TJ, Pedro, all the people that are involved, and a big shout out to Gabe from B96 that we interviewed as well and gave so much great
Mm.
information about his take on cannabis. So that's just another name drop in there that who we have. So we have a morning host, um, B96, Gabe. Yeah, he's one of my brothers. I grew up with him on the documentary. He's shares a light on how he thinks about the cannabis being legalized in Chicago, and it's great to have someone that the young youth
Mm.
look up to, and they listen to him every morning and doing such a great job for Chicago and young people. And I grew up with Gabe, so me and Gabe go way back. So I'm happy that he's a part of it. So that's just another person that we have
That's
on the
awesome. Shout out
documentary.
to Gabe, man. I remember listening to B96 when I was younger, but like in the 90s, it
Uh-huh.
was like Eddie and Jobo. That was my shit.
Yeah, well, just to let you know, Gabe was Eddie and Jobo's
Really?
intern. Um, yeah, he was their intern for years, and then he got the job as a producer, Gabe, for the little Filipino guy. I forgot his name. He's a DJ. What was his name? I forgot his name. And then he worked with Jay in the Morning, and then now he got his
Wow.
own.
And on B96, the station that he was an intern
Yeah.
on. That's fucking awesome, man.
Yep, and you're talking about when, man, like before Eddie and Jobo retired. I mean, he was with them, so he got a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge, and knows.
That's
a lot
awesome,
about
man.
radio.
Shout out Gabe Ramirez, man, from B96. Brother, thank you for jumping on. We had a great time. You taught me a lot. Now I know never to say fucking marijuana anywhere again. It has to be cannabis.
Yeah, bro. They're not just say cannabis, bro. I learned that. I learned that really quick talking to a lot of industry people with cannabis, with the whole dispensary. A lot of people that talk about marijuana are like no, don't say that word. So.
That's awesome. But thank you for coming on, man. I can't wait to see your projects. I'm looking forward to the Green City project, to your stop motion, and just everything that you have moving forward, man, because you have an amazing eye, and I love your drive, man. I'll see you soon, okay? If you enjoyed this week's episode, please make sure you hit that subscribe button to stay centered on all Indie Center podcast episodes. If you are an independent creator and have a story to share and want to have a sit down, please email me at indiecenter.podcast@gmail.com. That's indiecenter.podcast@gmail.com. If you have sponsorship inquiries, I'd love to help local businesses. Please email me at indiecenter.podcast@gmail.com. Until next Monday, guys. Peace.